Top of the day to you, peeps. it's, hey man, you got to bring joy in each day. You can't expect the day to be joyful unless you're joyful. Look at me, I'm bald, so you best have joy in your life. Anyways, so I'm over here at the other property, and this is a mess. Okay, so just to give you a little background on this apartment. So we had contractor come in here because we've had a lot of problems with contractors trying to find a contractor on these remodels, which whatever. Anyways, so these contractors were in here. They were in here for 2 weeks, and they were just messing stuff up left and right. I came over here numerous times just to do a, hey man, what's going on? And was finding all kinds of dumb stuff. Anyways, so we had another contract. We fired those guys. We had another contractor come in here and just finish it off real quick because these guys were just, they were messing everything up, half doing stuff. I'm going to point out some stuff, man, you're not going to believe. Just stupidity. Anyways, so we're going to do a walkthrough real quick, and you tell me if there's anything you see. All right, well, I'm going to see if you can point it out. Okay, we're going to start. This is the living room. This is the living room. It's really small. These are like a little bitty efficiency apartments. They're not very big. I didn't design this. I don't know who came up with this bright freaking idea, but that cabinet's way too tall, number one. Anyways. These tenants just moved out of here, by the way. So, that's a walkthrough. It's a cute little 2-bedroom apartment. It's got window or wall unit ACs in it, baseboard heating, nothing major, okay? Now, I'm gonna take you back and I'm gonna point out every one of these little screw-ups. Lost my flashlight. Oh. Okay, so we start with the front door. That trim was just nailed on there. That's the first thing. You can see how that's all jacked up. No trim on this. They built this wall because this was an open concept. And here, not really anything over here, really. Something look funny about that wall? They turned a 2x4 sideways to build that wall. Isn't that funny? They didn't put a piece of trim on here. Just there was no trim here. The flooring guys put that piece of cobate or that cord round down. That barely works. The sink top, I've already been underneath the sink, but there's silicone all the way around the sink. You never put silicone here, never. Now you can put it underneath, but not out here on the edge. But what has happened is both sides, they siliconed that one. I think that the contractors probably did this. Anyways, what has happened is that mounting strip has detached. I think that they did this. Now that I'm looking at it, because this side doesn't have anything on it, but this side over here has got a bunch of silicone. So anyways, the mounting strip, it's riveted on there, and it is broke loose on both sides so that you can't pull this back down. You can't pull it down. So I've got to replace the sink. Here, of course, somebody caulked. You're not supposed to caulk that jamb. Never caulk that jamb. Even though this is a layover, you never caulk that jamb. Otherwise, you'll get water standing behind it. That's the reason why the corners are rotting out, because water is getting behind there and just standing behind that. So we'll have to recaulk that. We'll put a tub drain cover on it. Ain't that pretty? What's wrong with that picture, bruh? That's a little, like, maybe 18-inch vanity for a 32-inch sink. The doors are separated. The tenant had to put tape on it to hold the door together. So I'm not replacing this door. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little pin nailer, put a little glue behind this, and pin nail this door back together. Because that door is solid. It's lost its integrity. Here's another thing the contractors did. They did the same thing over here on this door. They just ran a screw in there and said, screw it. I couldn't find anything really. Do you see something wrong with this picture? Tell me if you see what it is. Door stop's on the trim, not the door. It should have been on this corner to stop the door from busting up the door. You know what I'm saying? This is no good. That's a half a stopper. Why is that in there? It should have put it on the door. But it's, so to fix this, I'm just going to put one of the doorknob plates on there, and hopefully that takes care of that little problem. I don't know why the kids that lived here took down the smoke detectors, but they did. And they're laying over here with the batteries going. I don't know why they took these out. Those have got to be the cheapest smoke detectors I ever saw. Anyway. And they got paid like $7,000, man, to flip this apartment. We bought everything. We bought the appliances, countertops, cabinets, everything. That's all they had to just put together. That's the other reason why I want to go back out to being a contractor. There's another thing I'll show you back here. They didn't have a pet, as far as I know, but something sat and ate the freaking corner of this counter or this carpet up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably take a piece of this carpet out. Let me get my fingers to flip around there. I could probably run a piece of trim across here to cover this up, this gap, so you don't have brown wood back there, and I can cut this carpet here to go over there, hopefully. We'll see how that pans out. Yeah, check that out. There's no trim underneath this baseboard. And I can't take it down because it's hardwired on the wall. So that's what I'll do. I'll get a piece of trim because I need a piece of trim for the living room. When they built that wall, when they built this wall, this 2x4 wall, they didn't put any trim down here. So what I'll do, I'll get a piece of trim for that and another one for the bedroom. And we'll cut that. I'll cut a piece of that carpet's going along that wall. I'll cut it to go in that hole. I'll just use some, it's in the corner. I'll just use some double-sided carpet tape for that. Cool beans? I mean, that's why I'd like to be an inspector. You know, housing inspector. Boy, I'd bust you in a second. I always did. Every time they hire these contractors, man, I pop them. Because they'll ask me to come over and do the walkthrough on it. Anyways. Job security, bro. Whenever you're going to replace it, okay, you just can't run out. Well, on an old cheap apartment, you probably could. But just to cover your butt, this is it. The sinks have always got a stamp somewhere on them, on what the brand is. And this is a Dayton, believe it or not. But what you want to do is you want to measure the width or the depth and the width, okay? And then you want to kind of eyeball the depth. You can look across the sink and see that it's about 6-inch deep sink, okay? The reason why I say this is because if I just went and bought a cheap sink to go in here, it's probably because these idiots, instead of cutting on the corners, when you cut your corners, when cutting the hole out, you always want to leave the corner. You don't want to cut all the way out here. You want to leave that corner, because that if you've got to replace the sink, you can replace it with a cheaper sink, okay? But I can't, because they cut all the way to the corner. You'll see when we pull it off. So you want to make sure that you get your length and the width and your depth on it, because if I got a cheaper sink that was, say, 4 inches instead of 3 inches, that changes the layout of the drain, the depth wise. So I need to get a 6-inch deep sink for this. Cool beans, just a word to the wise, brother, man. Have a good day. Okay, so, and then when we're doing the bathtub, recaulking, because I got to recaulk it. It's all rotted out. What I always use is 100% silicone. In a tub, you always want to put 100% silicone, because if you use like dip, DOF, whatever, with it says with silicone, it's not, it's painter's caulk. What that means is silicone will cause caulk to be flexible a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Versus some of the acrylic caulk will hard. I mean, that stuff will be hard as a rock. You want to put that stuff like exterior, but I would use exterior caulk anyway. So anyway, so anytime you're working in a wet surface, or maybe you want to caulk around the toilet. I don't caulk around the toilet. I think that's stupid, because you know what I mean? Yeah, I have never done it, and I don't like to do it unless you got some jacked up flooring and you want to cover that up. But in a bathtub, always use silicone, because it won't rot. Cool? And it's water resistant. So anyways, I don't know if that's silicone or not, but we go check it out real quick. Way to see if it's silicone. If you push on it and it stays, that's silicone. So these kids just didn't take good care of it. You can put bleach down, or you can put like tub and tile cleaner on that. Any kind of harsh chemical tub cleaners, and it'll get that off. But I'm not going to try to cover this up. I'm just going to recaulk it. So, but it was silicone. I give them credit for that. Whoever put it on, I doubt it was the contractors. You gotta hate on them, man. Gotta hate on them. Sorry about that. Anyways, so I'll dig this out. 5-way works pretty good on this stuff. You got your sharp edge, got your flat edge. But yeah, that works pretty good. So that's one project we'll work on. Another thing I found, which because of the area, you know, you wouldn't have, I would have probably never seen it, but I just so happened to catch this at the corner of my eye. The flooring has come up. I don't know if maybe they got something hot on it or what, but or water. But see, because this is vinyl material, water's not really gonna mess with it that much. So what I'm gonna do on this is, because this stuff doesn't lock together. I thought it was supposed to, but I guess not. Anyways, what I'll do on this is I'll put carpet glue or carpet tape underneath this on all the seams, and I'll use my heat gun and heat that up so that the material will relax and go down, and then I'll have to put something heavy on it for a little bit to get it to glue back down. But yeah, this is, I don't know why they put trim around there, because that's just vinyl material. You know, they were just being lazy. They didn't even caulk it, so I'm real good about finding dumb stuff real quick. Anyways, so this is just a little dot. See, it's not very big, right? But the other thing is I got a couple of nail pops. So instead of just fixing that, I'm gonna go ahead and hit these nail spots. And then if there's any other thing that I deem that we need to fix, we'll go ahead. I'm not going crazy. Dude, I'd be here for a week trying to fix all that stuff. But what we'll do is we'll just take care of, you know, like this. See that? That's a bad patch. I bet you I can almost pull it out. Yeah, almost. It's hard for you guys to see. Let me see if I can put my light on. Well, it's just a bad spot in the wall. Nothing major. And then each side of the medicine cabinet looks like crap. To you guys can't see us, but it's all messed up. Big line right there. It's where the old one was. It's on both sides. So what I'll do is I'll just go through and see if there's any drop. Alrighty, so like always, I just took a hammer and nailed it and popped them nails back in the wall. These are no big deal. You just put a little bit of mud over them, let it sit overnight. It's just a dimple spot, that's all it is. But this up here, because it is a gouged out hole, see that? So what I'll do, let's get it a little wet. I'll put some mud tape on that. Of course, my tape's gone. There it is. So we'll put a little bit of tape over that. Put a little mud on top of that tape. And put another piece of tape just above it. Easy peasy, man. I'll go ahead and put just a little bit more mud on that. Hopefully it's a one-shot wonder, you know what I'm saying? Float it out real good. And make sure you don't have any dips in it. You know, like gouges. Just lightly go over. I can sand that and be done with it. Get them paint boogers off of it. Yeah, that looks fine. Now I'll go around and hit the rest of these real quick. Run your knife over it real quick so that you don't have any hot spots. And just put your little bit of mud on there. With it, we're just trying to make it look better, man. Yeah. I can build the place. But see, the thing is you only get one shot with the tenant, man. You give them a good taste or a bad taste. You know what I'm saying? So if you do some crappy work, tenant will get a bad taste in your mouth. Apartment maintenance guys. You can't blame your quality work on someone else. Get it? So, let's hit this real quick. And this really isn't that bad. It's a poor quality finish. So. And I'm already doing mud work, so I'm not tripping on one more spot, you know. We're just trying to make it look good. That's it. Looks good, man. That looks good. I seen that spot. Right there. It just looks bad. You know, I'm already doing this other stuff, so why not? You know, ain't gonna hurt nothing. It's a very small spot. Let's make it look better. I would say if I see it, they'll see it. You know? Just a little bit of mud. That way I sand it down a little bit. I'm not trying to make this look perfect. I just wanted to, hey, I got mud out. Now I'm gonna throw a blower on this real quick, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm just gonna throw this little blower here. It's barely on. It's just moving air across it. That's all you got to do with that stuff. It'll dry, and I mean, I don't have to have it done today. But if you were in a hurry, throw a blower on it. You come back and sand it in an hour and a half, something like that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pull the sink out. I got that drywall. So, you know, of course, anytime you pull the sink out, you got to disconnect the water. In order to get the sink out, you have these little screw clips. I'll show you. Right there's one, right there. And you got one back there. And because this is a jacked up sink, I'm only gonna have, I don't see any back there. So that's what we'll do. We'll pull those out, disconnect the garbage disposal, sink drain, and all that, and drop it down. What I like to do when I'm disconnecting this sink, because it's way up in there, is I have this, it's a DeWalt, it doesn't really matter, but it's an extension. It's as long as my hand, it's about 10 inches long, but it's magnetized, and that way it just gives me that little extra something. That way I don't have to get my hand way up in there. So quick. Do that paper towel, because you don't want water getting on that cabinet and soaking in, and then it ruins your cabinet. Okay, that's that. What the freak? Ooh, Milwaukee. Oh my gosh. You know, these Milwaukee's, man. I've had these for, oh my gosh, like 3 years now. And they're starting to slip. And out of third and fourth. Oh, I just now saw that. Hold on, I'll show you. Let me get this water line off. Come on. Okay. I just now noticed that the tooth is broke off. That's the reason why I'm having a hard time keeping it in the third slot. If it's barely open, or if it's somewhat open, it just slides right out. Huh. Way to go to Milwaukee. I don't put that thing under no heavy force. Anyways, so what I'm going to do now, instead of tearing all this, I'm going to leave all this. So we'll get a hold of it right here. Well, that's loose. And then I will disconnect the crossover pipe. Disconnect the crossover and turn this, and it does the garbage disposal. Woohoo! Now all I gotta do is pull sink up. Yep. Yank sink up. Alright, so we'll see how well it comes out. I already know it's silicone over here, so it's trash. Wow. There's no edge there. There's silicone all the way around it. There we go. Pow, pow. Silicone. So that's what it was. See, the kids probably get some paint on it, but so, anyways, a ton of silicone on that. Big old pile of it. You see how the water's messing this up? So I'll go show you the back of the sink. This is the flange. See, the flange was gone. It wasn't even in there in the sink. And then over here, half of it had already come off. See, not supposed to do that. Without that, I can't mount the sink. That's why I had to get a new one. Right. I think this is a 6. I think they're about the same. It said 6, but I think this is like a 7. Because this looks a little deeper. But it's alright, we got a little flex room. We can start tearing that apart. Alright, so on the sink, take a strainer off, or the sprayer off. I like to put a little bit of Loctite on those threads when I put them together. That way it prevents it from backing out. Take your water lines off. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah, it's a spinner. So on this, we'll put this little wrench down here on the bottom. Got these lines loose. And the only reason why I got to take that off is because it won't fit through the hole. Otherwise, I would have left it on there. The hole's too small. Get that off. And then the sprayer has 2 little fingers you push in and it just comes right off. No big deal. You can see them, the blue fingers on one on each side. Just push it in. That's out of the way. And then of course you take your big black nuts off. Alright, got that out of the way. Get the faucet out. And now we got to do the strainers and the dishwasher, or a garbage disposal. That strainer's name's sitting in the hole correctly. Ooh, we got a spinner. We get my cover and a little tool for that. We got a spinner. The same tool I use for drains. Same tool I use for drains. You can use it on this. Same drain hole. Okay. So you got one of them little guys wants to spin around on you. Way you can hold it still before you take it back off. A lot of times when you take these strainers off, they're trash because the paper, there's a little trick to that. What you can do is put a little lubricant on the rubber, and it keeps the rubber from spinning when you're tightening it up. That's all that paper's for. It's a slick surface. That's that. But see, what I don't like is these rubbers, these cheap ones. See how that rubber's buckled? It's all bowed up. I don't like that. Okay, so on the garbage disposable, I need this in my hand. Garbage disposable, you got 3 screws on that. They're Phillips. You just back them screws out. Back the screws out, and then you got a keeper ring right there. You can use it about anything. You just got to get a hold of it and pop it up. So out, and we got that keeper ring off. Get that out of the way, and then you just pull this up, pop it down, just like that. Make sure you save your paper. That barely had any plumber's putty on it. The other side didn't have any. Good times, ain't it? So now all we gotta do is reverse the process. Good time. So this way and go get another. Could just do it reversed. This is the garbage disposable side. Put some plumber's putty on there. It's cold. Fastest way to warm this stuff up, believe it or not in the microwave. hot water. Run hot water over a handful of it. Make it right as rain, bro. Just run your big old fat bead around there. Set it up in the hoe. I like to give it a little bit of a twist and it'll hold it there for a second. So we get the other parts on. Like I said, we're just putting it back together. Put a paper ring on it. Put your plate on it. And then we gotta put the keeper ring on it. It's easier to hold on to, just get one side down and then push the other side. Pap, just like so. You know I just screwed that up right because I forgot to put that on there. You gotta pop that back up. Oh, that's funny. I wasn't paying attention what I was doing. So, pop it back off. I just subscribed to a dude. He's a porter and he's trying to get into maintenance. And I watched him do one of these. He struggled on that because this ring, bro. I feel you, bro. This ring can be a real pain in the rear, especially when you lay on your back. So anyway, so as soon as you get that ring on there, spin it around and just bring it up a little at a time. Get it up tight. You don't want to squeeze it all on one side. And you also want to make sure you're square in the hole. Let me double check. Yeah, it looks pretty square. Looks square from my house. Nope. You can do it with a screwdriver, it's going to take you a lot longer. But I usually like to bring the top of the screws to the pretty flush. That way I know I'm equal on each side. You know what I'm saying? It looks pretty good. Looks good. So that side's done. Now we got to do that side. My paper's destroyed. Let me see if I've got something. Oh, WD-40. That'll work. I'm not gonna put this ring back down the way it came off, which is like that. I'll flip it over so it'll match it back down the other way. Kind of clean all this loose stuff off. I want to get that debris off there. Alrighty, so we'll do the same thing over there. Thing over here on this side. Kind of want to clean that up a little bit. Get all that old stuff off of there. Let me see, get that off there. Put it on drop cloth. Okay, clean it up a little bit. Gets a little bit of plumber's putty. Mash it around there. Putty on there. And about the size of your finger. It ain't gonna be a huge pile. Get up in there. Pull, give it a little squirt, a little turn. Sometimes it'll hold, sometimes it won't. All right, so like I said, we don't have the paper anymore. So we got to put the rubber back on there. And I'm gonna put it back on opposite the way it came off. I'm gonna get this little bit of putty out of my way here. A little bit out, okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little WD-40 and spray on there. And well, this is not WD-40, but you get the point. This is locked to dry. Put it on there. And that way my ring is going to spin on it. Now give me a whole bunch of problems. So, really don't care much that rubber. But, like I said, we got to hold real careful. Don't want to move it too much. Otherwise I'm going to drop it. There we go. There we go. I don't care much that rubber, man. That rubber's pretty wore out. Whoops, I dropped it. No big deal. Push it back up in the hole. Gravity's not my buddy today. Okay. Let's see if we can get this on there. That rubber's pretty stretched out, man. But it's all that rubber is just a barrier between this ring and the metal. So that'll get me started. Yeah, that rubber's wanting to squeeze out on me. Kind of even it out a little bit. Yeah, it's squeezing out pretty good. I may have to go get a new one. I've seen people do these without the rubber. I don't care much for that idea, but we'll give it a shot, man. See if we can reuse this rubber or not. Probably. It's starting to squeeze out pretty good. See, what happens is that rubber's wanting to squeeze all the way out. See? Well, I've got plumber's putty on there, so let's see if I can do it without the rubber. Because I hate to drive all the way over and get another one. So, we got plumber's putty on there. That'll seal it from inside the sink. Let's see if we can get it to not leak. Got a lot of plumber's putty on there. That's the biggest thing about it is that plumber's putty will squeeze out. I'm gonna give it a shot. I've never tried to do it without the ring on there. We'll see if she leaks. So let's go ahead and get the faucet back on. My bad. Almost put it in there backwards. Always want to make sure your plastic plate is underneath the faucet where it's supposed to be, not half on, half off one side or the other. Yeah. Just gonna push it over. There we go. Nice and pretty. Right where it's supposed to be. So let's tighten these down real quick. Easy peasy. And then pretty ring. Like I said, what I like to do is put a little Loctite right there. So that's what I'm gonna do before we get started on that. Oh geez, that come running out. My bad. That's been in the car too long. Sheesh. That was a bit more than I wanted on there, but it's all right. What that'll do is that'll help to. That'll definitely help to keep it from unscrewing itself. I didn't even squeeze it, I just leaned it over. Alright. Bet you that don't come off. That goes back through, clicks back on. Then we put our water lines back on. No way. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to put it back in the hole. Before we can put it back in the hole, we need to clean up this hose. That's where a real sharp 5-way comes in, real handy. See, that corner of the countertop's already screwed up. It's just like when you're a contractor, man. You know, you do something stupid like this, homeowner can come back on you over that. Of course, then they'll spend, you know, money to take you to court. But So if you just take your time, just do a quality job, you don't have to worry about it. Close enough. There's nowhere to bite. There's nowhere to bite in the front. So let's try the countertop sink out. Back down the same hole, man. Golden. So now all we gotta do is tighten up all these little keepers. And this is what they look like. So this goes in the rim. There's a rim down there, the one, of course, it's broke. That goes in the rim. And then this little nasty little biter right there, that's what catches the countertop. So between this and that's all the room you have to work with. So that's how precise you have to get that countertop hole. You can't be real far off and you can't be too close. So it's real tight. So I'm gonna put 3 here, 3 there, and a couple on the back. And me, there's no room to get one in the front, but I'll look at it while I'm down there. I'm about to show you a trick that you'll probably never be taught except by me. I'm gonna show you a trick. Okay, so the sink's in. Okay, the problem with this install is that the front edge, this front edge underneath, you can't get these keepers in there. There's no way to get the keeper in that track and catch the countertop. You have to catch the countertop to pinch it. Otherwise, you'll get water, and that's what happens with these contractors. They think, well, just silicone it. Let me show you what I did. Take it back out. Oh, there we go. Okay, so what I did was, where I want my mounts to be, I put a mark. There's 3 marks on there. So what you have to do, is you have to drill that out. Is I marked, when I had the sink sitting on, underneath, I marked it with my marker so I would know this is where I want my bolt to be. This fastener. This fastener catches the sink, but you can't get it in there because this is in the way. So what I do is I drill this area out so I can get this to catch the countertop. It's kind of hard to understand what I'm doing, so just bear with me, I'll show you. So what I have to do is I have to drill this wood out so I can get that bit in there. So I'm going to use a big bit. The countertop hides this top edge. Now when I'm doing countertops, I cut that out. But we need to drill this out. You need to drill it out big enough that this is going to be able to slide up in there. Like so. Okay, go back further. It's pretty close. Like I said, I've done this with a hole saw bit. Normally you do this before you put the countertop on. That's pretty close. I think right there will work just fine. Because what it is your track, that track is going to sit right here, right? Get my fingers out of the way so you can see. The track is going to sit right here where this bit is, okay? So that mushroom has got to go inside that track. And then it's got to be able to catch the countertop. See what I'm saying? So if you have this meat there, you can't get a hold of the track. You know, you can't turn it. So this way I'm able to get in there. Just a little trick. Let's do the other 2. All my little holes are drilled out so that this will slide back, and I should still be able to get hold of the screw. and we'll go from there. That way I can bite down on that countertop. I'll put the camera down there so hopefully you can see what's going on. Well, there we go. Dropped it. So my little mushroom has got to go up in the track. Whoops, I drilled out the wrong freaking hole. No, that's all right. I don't have to go that way. So you gotta get it in the track. A lot of times it's easier to just make sure you get this stuff done first before we try to put the whole thing in. So this got to go in the little hole I just made. Right there. See? You got to wiggle it around a little bit. There we go. Just like so, in the hoe. Now all I gotta do is the other two, and then it kind of works like this. This is really hard to do. So you can see, and then all you gotta do is tighten up that screw. That's it. It pulls the countertop down. That way you don't have any water leaks in the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and fish around and do these other. Get it in the hoe first. Oh. That'll work perfectly right there. Now, like I said, I don't have the other, I don't have any other screws in it. So I'll work on the front. That way I've got a little bit of wiggle room right now. And then slide forward. And of course, this one's going to fight me. Alrighty. So now we're in place. And all I have to do is tighten everything up, put the other two sides on and the back, and we are golden. Golden. Tank remounted. Nice and tight. It's flush all the way around the way it's supposed to be. Just got all that silicone still down there, but not my problem. I'll scrape it up the best I can. Anyways, we'll put the sink drain back together and go from there. So let's get the garbage disposal back up. Get your little fingers over where it's supposed to be. Pop it up, spin it. Good to go there. Well, that might be a problem right there. There we go. Well, that's pretty freaking close, bro. This is because the sink, I think it was probably loose to begin with, but there's like no meat there. I got no meat. Let's see if maybe I pushed it. Yeah, I pushed it down a little bit too far. Let's get the rubber on there. Gotta make sure that drain's on there right. Yeah, rubber come loose a little bit. Whoa, don't lose that. This is just a hair too long. About a 1/4 inch too long. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. I got my circular saw. That's all I've got here with me. So I'm gonna cut this off. I need this pipe to be straight. You know what I'm saying? It's already jacked. But I need that to be about 1/8 of an inch shorter. We'll take this off and cut it down. Put this back on. Slide it back over. Now we're lined up pretty good. Put this back back on. There we go. Put the water lines back on. Couple minutes. It's not hot. I think that's for the. Oh, it's a reflection. Anyways. I think we're good, man. One thing I always do, now this is hot water running, so what I always do after it's run for a couple minutes is I will tighten these up because the plastic is soft now. And then when it cools down, it'll tighten itself right up. I'm not torquing, I'm just giving her a good snug. I think we're good to go on the sink top. I think I'm about done for the day. Peace out, bro.